Are Macon County jail facilities adequate for the number of detainees in our population? How many detainees have to be housed in other counties on an average?
I don't think I'd be able to answer that question fully because I don't know their statistics and stuff like that. But if it goes into the question of possibly how many do we need to expand the jail, most certainly in my opinion, because if we're sending out our inmates to another county and paying to house those inmates in another county, say if you roughly do, I'm not for sure exact cost, is it roughly $30 or more a day, Sheriff Holmes?
More than that.
More than, yeah. Well, let's just use $30, I mean, at minimum. You got $30 a day at 10 inmates, that's $300 a day. Over a course of a year at those 10 inmates, that's over $100,000 roughly. We can use that money to put in and expand our jails to make them more bigger to where we can keep those inmates in county and save the taxpayers money. I'm not for sure if that's exactly the way the person wanted the question answered and stuff like that. But to get that, I'd have to know more statistics around other counties.
You heard any question? Repeat the question.
Yes, please.
Are Macon County jail facilities adequate for the number of detainees and the population, and how many detainees have to be housed in other counties on the average? I guess you don't have to answer that part, because you're not going to know. But the first part, you can
Okay.
expound upon that.
Our detention center, I believe, is 75 is what it's supposed to hold. I'm not sure on the numbers as far as what numbers we have in other counties, but I know the last I spoke with the chief deputy of Clay County, we were spending over $200,000 there, and I don't know what we're spending in other counties. So we absolutely need to update our jail, build a new one, make this one bigger. We got to do something with it because we don't have the room to hold the people we've got now, and it's costing us a ton of money to send them to other places.
Thank you.
Do I get to answer that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I was just making sure.
Feel free to speak up.
Didn't want to interrupt. But on average, we're averaging about 100 inmates a day in our jail. And of course, we can't keep 100 inmates in our jail. We're a 75-bed facility. So on average, anywhere from 25 to 30 inmates every day are being housed in other counties. I think if I'm remembering my numbers correctly, I think it's around $500,000 to $600,000 that we paid other counties to keep our inmates last year. It's ridiculous that we're having to pay other counties to keep ours, but the problem is we have to keep them somewhere. We can't keep them in our jail.
Would that this is my question, would that $500,000 or $600,000 that we presently are paying to other counties to house those prisoners, would that, how much of an addition or how many additional beds could you obtain with that $500,000 or $600,000?
And I don't think anybody here could adequately answer that question. So let me finish, and I'll try to get to everything you want to know. The problem is, we're paying at $50 a day to house prisoners in other counties. That doesn't include the cost of our transports, which, by the way, we don't even have transport positions. It's detention officers. We got turned down for another transport position last year. We don't have that does not include the cars, the gas, everything that we're spending in order to get those prisoners transported over to other jails. Then I'll also have to go and pick them up and transport them back to court. And so what I've asked, and there's been talk about building a jail, and is the jail going to get built in the future? Absolutely, it has to. The problem is, before we start talking about building a jail, I think we need to look at avenues that we can look at trying to reduce the population in our jail. We've got people that are in jail that really don't need to be in jail. You've got somebody that may be a first-time DUI who can't make bond, whether it be $500 or $10,000, they can't make bond. And so we're looking at different avenues that we can take, and one of those avenues is we're looking at the electronic monitoring or house arrest for those minor offenses. People that are in there for child support, just different minor offenses. And so before I meet with the commissioners and really talk about building a jail and get into the nitty-gritty of that, I think we need to look for other ways to reduce our cost.